I remember the laughter before anything else. Not the words, not the glances, just the sound. Crystal glasses chiming together, silver forks dragging lightly over porcelain plates. Her friends reclined in their designer gowns, champagne already softening their edges, making their cruelty blur into something they thought was harmless fun. Then her voice cut through the chatter, sharp enough to leave a mark. Dating down really gives you perspective. Now I know what I don't want. The words were a dagger, but it was the laughter that followed that finished the blow. Hard, cold, metallic laughter. My name wasn't spoken, but it didn't need to be. The target was obvious. I was the joke. I stayed composed. No reaction, no defense. I simply folded my napkin with care, set it on the table, slipped a crisp $100 bill beneath the untouched plate, and rose. No angry words, no slammed fists. Just the soft scrape of my chair against the polished floor as I turned to leave. Behind me, her voice trembled for the first time that night. Wait, where are you going? I never turned around. We had been married 4 years. When she met me, I wasn't broke, just ordinary. Middle class. A career in architecture, a steady paycheck, a life built on balance. She was the daughter of a venture capitalist, raised in a rarefied world where money was air and excess was normal. She told me she loved that I was grounded, that with me she could escape the suffocation of privilege. And I believed her. She moved me into her world. Glittering fundraisers, endless parties, weekend trips to Paris just because. She said she liked that I didn't quite fit in, that I gave her perspective. But over time, her little jokes grew sharper. You wouldn't understand. It's a rich people thing. Don't worry, I'll cover it. You can get the next one. She delivered the lines with a laugh, and I laughed too because that's what you do in a marriage. You forgive the barbs, you make peace with the differences. Until one night, over candlelight and champagne, she revealed the truth. That night after the dinner, she filled my phone with messages. At first playful. Baby, it was just a joke. Then contrite. I didn't mean it like that. Finally pleading. Please come home. Let's talk. But I didn't go back. I didn't answer. I just watched her words appear on the screen. Bubbles rising and bursting, again and again. She wanted me to forget. To erase what she had shown me in a careless moment. But I don't erase. I remember. And I plan. I started with her finances. She thought her money insulated her. She forgot the prenup cut both ways. I couldn't touch her fortune, but neither could it protect her from her own carelessness. I dug into her accounts, sifted through transfers, receipts, and messages. I found what I needed. Her reckless mixing of personal and business funds, her shortcuts to cover vanity projects. I saved everything. Screenshots, logs, proof. Then I turned to her circle of friends. The ones who laughed with her, who whispered when I wasn't around. I got close enough to learn their cracks. Some resented her. Some envied her. Some owed her more than they wanted to admit. Every detail became leverage. I collected it all quietly. And then there was her image. My wife lived on appearances. She polished every moment into a performance. The perfect couple, the perfect life, broadcast for all to see. I began withdrawing piece by piece. No more smiling photos. No more hand-in-hand at events. No more presence in her carefully curated world. People noticed. She noticed. She begged me to play along. I didn't. 6 months later, the stage was set. A grand dinner at her father's estate, celebrating the launch of her new investment fund. The room was thick with money and expectation. Investors, board members, family, every eye waiting to be impressed. She needed me there, the loyal husband. I wore the expensive suit she'd chosen, smiled for the cameras, let her hold my hand as she introduced me as her rock. But when the speeches began, I excused myself. Not to the restroom, but to the AV booth. In my pocket sat a small USB drive containing everything. Her mocking emails about investors. Her scornful private messages about her friends. Screenshots of questionable transfers. And her affair with a business partner, recorded in her own words, her own voice. I slid the drive into the system. One press of a button. The sound of her voice filled the room, amplified over the speakers. Drunken messages dripping with contempt for the very people sitting before her. Scorn for her investors. ridicule for her friends. And then unmistakable, the breathless laughter and moans she thought were private. Faces shifted around the room, shock hardening into disgust. Investors whispered, pushed their chairs back and left. Her father's jaw tightened like a vice. The women who once laughed with her now stared like predators circling a wounded animal. I returned to the room quietly, calm as if nothing had happened, and stood in the back. She caught sight of me, her eyes wide, mascara bleeding, lips trembling around words that wouldn't form. I gave her nothing. No comfort, no confrontation. I let her drown in the silence. The collapse came quickly. Contracts shredded. Partnerships dissolved. Her father disowned her. Not out of morality, but because failure was unacceptable. Her friends abandoned her. Her wealth thinned. Her calls to me multiplied, desperate, frantic. But by then, my papers were already filed. Divorce citing infidelity, with evidence no lawyer could argue against. She lost everything that mattered to her. The house, the reputation, the circle of admirers. And I walked away. Not richer, not poorer, just free. Do I regret it? No. Do I miss her? Only the version of her I thought was real. The woman who claimed to love the simplicity I brought to her gilded world. But she taught me something. Betrayal doesn't always wear anger. Sometimes it smiles, raises a glass of champagne, and laughs while it cuts you to pieces. And I taught her something too. When you make a joke out of a man in public, you'd better be certain he isn't the one who knows your secrets in private. Because silence is not surrender. Silence is strategy. And I played it perfectly.